She did it. What an exciting moment. What an emotional moment. So many tennis fans around the world are so happy right now. And I'm, of course, talking about Lilli Tagger winning the 2025 Roland Garros Junior Girls Title. And the reason why you should be paying attention to this result and the reason why this is so exciting is for the fact that Lilli has a phenomenal one-handed backhand. We have to keep the one-handed backhand alive. Only 8 men in the top 100 have a one-handed backhand, and there is no female player at the top of the game who plays with a one-handed backhand, and this has been the case since Justine Henin, who was present in today's women's final. Now, there must be something going on in the Alp region in Europe, because not only did we have Dominic Thiem from Austria, we had Roger Federer from Switzerland, we also now have the number 1 junior male player in the world from Switzerland, Henry Bennett, who has a fantastic one-handed backhand, and now the newest junior Grand Slam champion from Lienz, Austria, Lilli Tagger, with a fantastic one-handed backhand. I'm happy to see that. I'm not going to do any hyping, because winning a junior Grand Slam tournament doesn't always mean that this will lead to a successful pro career. So we'll have to keep track on Lilli, how she does, and I'm wishing her the best of luck. Now, speaking of junior Grand Slam champions, Coco Gauff won Roland Garros as a junior. And for you guys that don't know, I've been teaching tennis in Palm Beach County for the last 18 years, a long time. And every pro in this area has known about Coco Gauff since she was 8 years old, maybe even younger, because she was a phenomenal talent and everybody knew that she was going to be a pro. I'm always cautious with great juniors because you never know how their careers will develop. There are so many examples of great juniors that couldn't transition to the pro tour, and absolutely nobody knows their name. So when it came to Coco Gauff, I didn't really know what to think. But this changed when Gauff started playing on tour, and she broke into the top 100 rather quickly. And this was maybe in 2020 or 2021. I don't remember exactly. But Coco was ranked around 50, and she played an exhibition at the Delray Beach Tennis Club, the facility that hosts the ATP tournament in Delray. And for the first time, I saw this stadium being completely sold out. But not only was there incredible excitement for Coco, because both of her parents are from Delray, and Coco practiced at public courts not far away from the Delray Beach Tennis Center at Pompey Park. So of course a lot of locals were excited to see Coco play. But what impressed me the most and made me certain that Coco was going to be a Grand Slam champion was the fact that she had a lot of attributes that are unconventional regarding WTA players. So in this match, I saw tremendous craftiness around the court. Coco was slicing the ball with ease, and not only that, she could kick her serve, she could slice her serve, she could also hit it very hard and flat. She had a tremendous amount of topspin on her forehand. She had a very hard, a more flat backhand, but most impressively, Coco had phenomenal feel. In this exhibition match, in many occasions, she would drop shot and then a lob right after, which is a play that requires great hands. But it's not only that. Coco was also coming to the net and showing great hands on her touch volleys. So again, this is something that's unusual when we're talking about WTA players. So shortly after that, Coco started producing incredible results and shot into the top 10. Now, as I already told you, Coco won the junior Roland Garros title. And it is not surprising, because the attributes that I just described about Coco are the same ones that I used when describing Musetti in yesterday's video. These crafty players have a huge advantage when it comes to clay court tennis. Now, this doesn't mean that power players who happen to be less crafty cannot win on clay. They absolutely can. But being crafty, having a big repertoire of shots, is going to pay dividends when it comes to the clay courts. So in today's match, Sabalenka faced an absolute nightmare. Not only is Coco Gauff a tough player for her anyway, regardless of surface, because again, Coco will mix things up. She doesn't play the conventional WTA style. She has a tremendous amount of spin, and she also plays some quirky shots here and there. So for Sabalenka, this is always a tough match, and this is why she lost to Gauff 5 times prior to this match. But on top of all that, the conditions in today's match were absolutely brutal, and Sabalenka is very tall. And the absolute nightmare for many tall players is the wind. Now, generally, tall players, even if they have topspin, they're gonna execute their shots from the baseline with a more flat ball trajectory. So when this is done in the wind, this is a dangerous play, because when you shoot the ball more straight through the court, the wind can help you less. Now, what type of players are good in the wind? Well, it's players that, first of all, move exceptionally well, but it's also players that can hit great slices and heavy topspin shots that also go high over the net, because when the ball spins a lot, this can help in the wind. The ball can cut through the wind and make it into the court, while somebody that plays a more flat style, the wind will generally carry that type of ball more. So the conditions today that featured up to 33 mile-an-hour gusts were an absolute nightmare for Sabalenka, and they were absolutely an advantage for Coco. Now, interestingly, Sabalenka started well in this match. She was up 4-1, 2 breaks, serving at 40 love. But up to that point, Gauff was not only playing defensive, she was also committing some unforced errors. So I think Coco might have been nervous in the beginning of the match. But when Coco got that game down 4-1, where Sabalenka was up 40 love, of course it helped that Sabalenka threw in some unforced errors and a double fault, but getting that game gave a lot of confidence to Gauff, and from that moment on, Gauff freed up her game and started hitting a lot more aggressive and a lot deeper in the court. Now, this match had so many ups and downs that this game style of Gauff wasn't consistent. There were several portions of this match where she indeed was hitting short and was lacking depth. So surprisingly, from 4-1 40 love, all of a sudden it's 4-all, but then the momentum switched again, and Sabalenka is serving for the set at 5-4 and at 6-5, and she cannot convert, and Coco Gauff is fighting like crazy, putting a lot of balls back in place, slicing a lot of shots. Sabalenka has a lot of looks in the half court, and she did commit some frustrating errors, but understandable errors in the wind for such a tall player. And now we're in the tiebreak. I was sure that Coco Gauff was going to win this tiebreak because Sabalenka had so many chances to win this set. But interestingly, late in that first set tiebreak, Sabalenka tightened up her game and played really well and won this first set 7-6. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I was sure that Sabalenka was going to win the second set very easily. But this is where the fighting spirit and the mental strength of Coco Gauff comes into play, because Coco started playing a lot more aggressive early in that second set and again completely flipped the momentum. So Gauff wins that second set comfortably, and in the third set I did not know what to expect, and there were so many momentum shifts. Both players played some tight tennis. Nerves were involved. Sabalenka in the on-court interview said that this was a terrible final and a terrible match, and I do want to touch upon that. It's very disrespectful to say that, even if that may be true, because what that implies is that she sees herself above Gauff, because she said this was a horrible final, but Coco Gauff was the better player. So what she's saying is that if she would have played her normal game, she would have beaten Gauff, and history doesn't suggest that to be true. So this is an incredible faux pas to say something like this in the trophy ceremony, and I thought this was very disrespectful to Coco Gauff. And while there is truth to the fact that the level of tennis was poor in that third set, we have to talk about the context in which this third set took place. So both players never won Roland Garros. They were very eager to win this match that came down to one set, and both players were tight, no doubt about that. And now on top of that, you add the conditions, which were very tricky, and the fact that Sabalenka is a power player, and the type of balls that Gauff was giving her in the third set were difficult balls to put away. We're talking about a lot of forehand slices. This is a shot that I don't often discuss on the Intuitive Tennis YouTube channel, but speaking from experience, the shot that I hate playing the most is when somebody gives me low forehand or backhand slices to my forehand. I'm tall and I don't like to bend, and I don't bend well, and I also don't lift balls well when they're low on my forehand side. So that ball from Coco Gauff in the third set, the forehand slice, especially to the Sabalenka forehand, got her so many points and crucial ones. So as I said, this third set was so insane from a momentum shift standpoint, where Coco Gauff initially was up, then Sabalenka comes back. Coco Gauff is serving for the match at 5-4, and this game featured so many incredible tension-filled points. First match point for Gauff, Sabalenka hits the return on the line, and I thought, if Gauff ends up losing this match, what a nightmare. So Sabalenka had break point in this game. Coco Gauff saved it, and the match point, again, a tad lucky for Gauff. She shanks a forehand. It lands on the line. It looked like Sabalenka wasn't even going to play that ball at first, but she did an emergency shot of sorts. The rally continued, and Sabalenka ended up missing a backhand cross-court wide, and Gauff wins her first Roland Garros title. So while the quality of this match was poor, this doesn't take away from the entertainment factor and the importance of this match. And I gotta be honest with you, I watch a lot of tennis matches, and very few, if any, leave me emotional. But when Coco Gauff converted that match point, I'm not gonna say that I was sobbing, crying my eyes out, but I was tearful, no doubt about it. This victory touched me, and I was so happy that Gauff, deservingly so, won this title. Because again, the craftsmanship that she has on the clay courts, the fact that she has different strokes, drop shots, slices, she can kick the serve, she can slice it, she can play the ball higher, she can play it very hard and flat on her backhand side. This gives her a lot of advantages on the clay. And if you look at her clay results, she won junior Roland Garros, and she was in a couple of quarterfinals, a semifinal, and a final that she lost to Iga. So looking ahead, Gauff is going to be one of the favorites in future years to take Roland Garros. And now I'm going to preview the men's final. And yesterday I said that the conditions are going to be important, and indoor clay court conditions are going to favor Sinner, while outdoor clay court conditions are going to favor Alcaraz. And let me quickly talk about this matchup that could be one of the greats. Djokovic, in his post-match press conference, was asked about the Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry, and Djokovic said that they have a long way to go. They have to play for at least 10 years to build up the same type of numbers and the same amount of classic matches that the big three have had. So this is the first of hopefully many finals between Sinner and Alcaraz, and this is a fascinating rivalry for several reasons. First of all, it's the contrast in personality, and also contrast in styles of play. Now, during the Rome tournament, I said that Sinner was going to beat Alcaraz in the Rome final. I was wrong, and this is important that I was wrong, because this changed my viewpoint on Alcaraz quite a bit. But I also said that I believe Sinner will flip the head-to-head eventually, and that he will end up with more Grand Slam titles compared to Alcaraz, and I do stick by that. I think the fact that Alcaraz likes to blast his forehand at 100 miles an hour or more is something that's gonna lead to less consistent results overall. I think Sinner constrains himself far more than Alcaraz. Of course, Sinner can also hit the forehand as hard as Alcaraz, but he plays with more margins, even though he plays the ball extremely aggressive. So we're talking about small percentage points in power decrease. But I do believe that sometimes Alcaraz goes full blast. He just can't resist it. And I did hear that his coaching team was trying to coach Alcaraz away from that. But Alcaraz just wants to play tennis like that because he just cannot resist the temptation to hit those shots, because he can pull off those shots. But those type of shots, the full blast ones, cannot and will never be executed consistently. Now, of course, I'm generalizing. Court positioning matters, and where the ball is going matters. So I'm speaking in generalities. But fact is that because of the flashiness of Alcaraz, not necessarily his versatility, it's for that reason that I think Sinner will beat him more, and he will also win more Grand Slam tournaments. However, when it comes to one match alone, this means absolutely nothing, because Alcaraz has proven that he's capable of beating Jannik Sinner in the most important matches. Last year, he won some crucial ones: Indian Wells semifinals, Roland Garros semifinals, and the Beijing final. And of course, to my surprise, he also beat him in Rome. Now, the reason why I changed my mind on Alcaraz, and the reason why I picked him prior to the tournament to win the tournament against Sinner in the final, is that I think he has matured as a player and he's delivered consistent results on a week-by-week basis for the first time in his career. This clay court season has been Rafa-like. Not quite a rampage like Rafa, but maybe he can do one in future years. So the fact that he didn't necessarily play his best tennis in Rome, but then found his absolute top level against Sinner in the final, that impressed me a lot. And if it happened there, why can't it happen in the Roland Garros final? But when I analyzed this match, I said that even though Alcaraz was the better player, it wasn't because of the fact that Sinner didn't play for 3 months, that he was rusty. He had tons of matches to play himself into shape at that tournament. Alcaraz was simply the better player. But in that first set, it came down to a couple of points here and there. So I think every time these guys play, it's going to come down to a couple of points here and there. And it's going to be extremely difficult to predict who's going to win. The reason why a lot of people are picking Alcaraz is, number one, we're playing on clay, and that's going to be a slight advantage for Alcaraz. I think Sinner has proven now with the Rome final and the Roland Garros final that he is highly capable of winning any clay court tournament. His game translates exceptionally well to the clay courts. But with the Alcaraz versatility, the fact that he has a phenomenal drop shot, he can play the ball a little bit higher than Sinner, he can also come to the net a bit more efficiently and effectively, even though Sinner's volley game has improved a lot. In that match against Djokovic, he was hitting some phenomenal volleys and also executing them with a lot of feel. And also the Sinner drop shot keeps getting better and better. But I think naturally Alcaraz will always be the player with a little better feel and more versatility. So for that reason, an Alcaraz at his top level against a Sinner at his top level on the clay courts in outdoor conditions, I think the advantage is always going to be going slightly towards Alcaraz. But here's the thing. As I said, I believe that Sinner will flip the head-to-head eventually, because even though these guys will only meet in finals, and you could make the argument that by Alcaraz going into the final, he is likely to find his top level in a final. He has proven with an incredible finals record that he has this capability. Carlos Alcaraz has also proven that he can find his top level against Jannik Sinner. So what I'm about to say is unlikely to happen, but Carlos Alcaraz could have an off day. Maybe not play poorly the entire match, but maybe he can start off shaky or have a dip in a match like he did against Musetti, where his feel was off in that first set. If we get that version of Alcaraz, I do think that Sinner can beat him on any surface, including clay. But again, history has not taught us that this is going to happen. So long story short, I'm sticking with my prediction from before the tournament started, and I'm picking Alcaraz to win this one.